Hi everyone, welcome again to Bake Your Way Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a lemon pudding cake. Now this is a very delicious recipe. I always like lemon desserts. I think they're very nice. It's a nice change from chocolate. You know I love chocolate, but it's a nice change. So I'm going to take you over what you're going to need and then we'll get going. Once you have all your ingredients out, and I really recommend you do this, to have all your ingredients out, that way you don't need to be running around the kitchen when you're making the recipe. So what you're going to need is a spatula and a whisk, and you're going to need a stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, you're going to need another whisk and another mixing bowl. You'll need at least 2 other mixing bowls on top of this mixing bowl. Now as far as the ingredients are concerned, I'm going to put the measurements now from now on just so that I don't screw it up in the video. I'm just going to list to you the ingredients and you can refer down below for the ingredients. So you're going to need some flour, some granulated sugar, you're going to need a pinch of salt and a half a teaspoon of lemon zest. You're going to need some melted butter, some lemon juice, some milk, and you can use any kind you want. You could even use almond milk or something if you really wanted. I'm using 1% milk, but you could use whole milk, whatever you want. Now, there's eggs in this. There's 3 eggs in this, but they're separated. So I've got 3 egg whites here and 3 egg yolks here. Now, it's very important, I think this is amazing. This is what I've got on here, where I've got my egg whites. On top of it, I've got an egg separator, and I would really recommend you go ahead and get this. It just is so much easier to when a recipe calls for separating an egg. I'd always do this. It's so simple and easy, and I just think it's the best way to do it. So, without further ado, let's get started. So you're going to want to put your flour in this bowl here, as well with your sugar, and the lemon zest and the salt. And you just want to give this a quick whisk together just to combine. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. It's already there pretty much. But yeah, it's very important so that it's well balanced and so that the dry ingredients are well balanced and incorporated. As you can see, that's what you want. So now what we're going to do, now that that is all whisked in, we are going to be adding our melted butter, so we get it all, and our lemon juice. It's a very lemony dessert, this one. And we're just going to be mixing it to combine it. It's going to create kind of like a bit of a paste. It's a little runny. Oh, but man, oh man, just mixing these together, I can already smell that. That lemon. It's quite strong, I must say. So pretty much you just want to mix it to combine, kind of like this, as you can see what I've done here. So for now we're just going to place this to the side. Right here we are going to be adding our 3 egg yolks and our milk. We're going to pour this in. And we are going to need to beat this together. Now, you could do this with an electric mixer. I'm just going to do this by hand. And you're going to want to do this for at least a minute or 2 to get it very well beaten. Now what the egg yolks do is they add a lot of richness to this recipe, of course. That's why we are separating them. And so this is what it should look like. You just want it well beaten, the milk and your egg yolks. And we're going to bring this bowl back of our lemon mixture. We're going to add this to our lemon mixture. As simple as that. And we're just going to mix to combine. As easy as that. Now on to The more annoying part, in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of beating egg whites, but we gotta do it when we gotta do it. The end result is what matters. So in here I've got 3 egg whites, and I'm just gonna pour them in my stand mixer. And we need to beat this until it reaches stiff peaks. So if you do this by hand, it's going to take longer. Probably in this mixer, it could take anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. If you do it by hand, it could take up to 10 minutes. It really depends. Just a side note regarding the eggs, it's important to have your eggs at room temperature when you make them. And yeah, so I'm going to get started, and I'll show you what the egg whites look like once they reach stiff peaks. Alright, so our egg whites have now gone to stiff peaks, and I'll show you what that looks like right now. So basically this is what you want. Like, you want it to really puff up like this. Like, they're very stiff right now. This is what you want. Okay, so the next step, we're going to need to add this mixture to the lemon mixture. Now before you do that, please preheat your oven to 350. And then once you've done that, so 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 degrees Celsius. Now we're going to need to fold this in. So carefully put the the egg whites in, and we're going to need to fold these in, not just whip it in. So you don't want to be using a hand mixer, or you don't want to be beating this, because you're going to really deflate the eggs, and that's really going to affect the final product. Yeah. Alright, so now I'm just going to fold it in. This could take a few minutes. You want to do it slowly. So you want to go fold and up, fold and up, fold and up, fold and up. It will eventually come together. I'm going to do this for a few minutes, just the fold and up technique. Around, up, kind of around, up. We're folding it in. We're not trying to deflate our mixture here. We want it puffed up like this. Fold and up. So I'm going to do this for a few minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. We're now ready to pour our mixture into our baking pan. As you can see, it looks amazing. There's still a few white spots, but that's normal. So now, you can put this in an 8 or a 9-inch baking pan. It can be round or square, whatever you want. I like to do this in a pie plate. And so I'm going to just pour the mixture now into my prepared pie plate. I put some cooking spray on, and this just looks gorgeous. And that lemon smell, I can smell it, and it's not in the oven, and that's usually a very good indicator that it's going to really smell when it goes in the oven. Alrighty. So this is now prepared and ready to go in the oven. Now I've got right here a little, it's kind of like an oval shaped pan with sides, and I put about 1 inch of water in it. So you're going to want to do that. So you're going to need to hopefully you have a pan that's got sides so that you can add water, because we're going to be putting this lemon dessert inside it, and the water needs to go up the side. It helps with the baking process to get that pudding texture that we want. So I'm going to be putting this in the oven. I would say you're looking at around 30 minutes. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done, and we will go ahead and cut a slice. Alright, so I've just taken the lemon pudding out halfway, because I am going to be doing a meringue topping, and I want for the last few bits to have that meringue on top of it. It's kind of a unique and different way of doing it. I've got 3 mashed kiwis in here with about, maybe about a tablespoon of lemon juice. I've got right here 1/3 of a cup of sugar. In this bowl, I've got 2 large egg whites with a pinch of cream of tartar. And I'm going to whip this to stiff peaks, and as it goes, I'm going to pour the granulated sugar in. I'll pour the granulated sugar in once it reaches soft peaks. This will be good enough. So we're going to just simply pour this mixture that has been lightly beaten into the bowl with the kiwis and lemon. All we have to do is just kind of fold it all together. And now that because we put the lemon pudding in already for about halfway, so about 15 minutes, it's already golden brown quite a bit. So now all we're going to do is pour this over the top. I mean, this is completely optional. You don't have to do this. This is delicious. The lemon pudding's delicious without it, but I figured this would be good. Now, if you're making it without the meringue, you won't see how it looks like when I take it out of the oven. You'll know, like right now when I shake it, it's still very jiggly. It will have set when it's ready. So you want to keep watch and make sure it doesn't brown too much. What I'm going to be doing when I put this in with the meringue, I'm actually going to be reducing the temperature to about 300 and probably 300. And just for the last 15 minutes do that. So I'm just going to pour this over the top. And let me tell you, people wonder how I came up with this. It's kind of, I find recipes and I like to find ways to use them in different ways and use them in different ways. Like I want to be providing you all with something a little different, something new, maybe something you haven't seen before. So now what you're going to want to do is simply lightly spread this over the top. Now be very careful because you could, if you press too firm down, deflate the pudding. So you want to do this very gently. You just want to do it to cover the top. So that's what I'm doing, just to cover the top. And you can see we're right at the top. This is a delicious dessert, and there's not a lot of butter, not too much sugar. So it's definitely a lighter dessert option than most. I mean, it's still got flour and sugar and eggs and like the usual suspects that you find in baking, but I would definitely say over other desserts, this is definitely a good alternative. So now I've put this over the top, our egg white kiwi mixture. So now I'm going to put this back in the oven for another 15 minutes or so, and I will show you what it looks like once it is done. Alright, well I've just taken out our lemon pudding cake with the kiwi meringue, and it just looks delicious. It took about 30 minutes, as I said, 350, but however, when I did take it out to put on the soft meringue, I reduced the temperature to about 300 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit, which is 150 degrees Celsius, and it looks great. As you can see, it's developed a nice light brown color, that's what you're looking for, and it started to puff down a bit. Now that will happen more often as it cools, because this does need to chill in the fridge for, I would say, at least 4 or 5 hours, preferably overnight, and then just before you serve it. I'm just going to take a taste of our final dessert. Now, I put this in the freezer overnight, so it is still frozen. I'm letting it thaw now in the fridge, where it'll really soften and become very nice, but I just couldn't wait. So I just thought I'd show you. So this here, we got our bottom pudding-like layer, and then the lemon and the kiwi on top. Let's see how it is. Just gonna take a bite. Let me tell you, that is very good. Very good. You need to be a big fan of lemon to really like this dessert, because it's got such a strong lemon flavor. I believe we put in half a cup of lemon juice, so it certainly is a very lemony dessert. I find the kiwi taste very subtle, but it's delicious. And yeah, you can't go wrong with this recipe. If you love lemon especially, You'll really enjoy this. It's a great dessert. Regarding storage, when you first take it out of the oven, I would recommend, if you want it smoother, because this is right now frozen, I just put it in the fridge to thaw a bit, because if you put it in the fridge, it'll need a lot of time to set, because I tried cutting a piece after just putting it in the fridge for a couple hours, and the bottom part was still quite soft. It hadn't set yet, so I really think it needs several hours to overnight in order to set. But I would recommend putting it there, because if you put it in the freezer, it's like a frozen dessert. So I like it like that, but I know not everyone does. So putting it just in the fridge overnight or for several hours is good, and it's good to store there too. You can keep it in the fridge for around a week. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this recipe. I certainly enjoyed making it. If you have any requests on any recipes in particular you wanted me to try, please leave me a comment down below and I'll do my best to try to respond for the recipe that you desire. And let me know if you want. I'm also going to be making some baking tip videos in the future, and also videos about certain baking ingredients that we use a lot, like butter, sugar, things like that, and kind of going over their function, why we use them, things like that. Anyway, I hope you are enjoying. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.